Today is another open session where you can ask me questions, anything about Czech immigration, housing, health insurance, starting a business, whatever you're interested in. Doesn't matter if you already live in the Czech Republic and you have some questions, or if you're just planning to move here, or if you're somewhere in between just waiting for your visa to be approved. Anything that comes to your mind, write it in the comments or in the chat section here and I'll be happy to answer. It usually, like from past experience, it usually takes a couple minutes before more people come and start asking questions. So now the first 2-3 minutes might be a bit boring. I'll be just drinking water and a bottle of water and nothing much will be happening. So you can at least enjoy the view to this beautiful flower we have, and maybe also view from the window a bit. To the castle, to the castle. But then whenever people start joining, I'll start answering your questions. So Subash, hello sir. Hi Subash, thank you for joining. Ipshit, nice to see you Ipshit, it's been some time. What is the criteria for mortgage and show money as I have OSVČ? Okay, so in this case, please get in touch and I'll be happy to hook you up with our mortgage guy, let's say, the person who will be definitely able to tell you more. Generally speaking, like showing your income works similarly. So your the bank you want to get a mortgage from, they will want to see your tax return, and based on how the tax return was done, if you use the 60/40 deduction or how much taxes you paid, all that, then they will like evaluate your credibility, let's say, or whatever, how much money they can lend you. But definitely would be best to speak with the guy we work with, and so get in touch and I'll be happy to connect you to. Gekan Kara, where is this? This is in our office in Move to Prague, in the Czech Republic, in Europe, at the planet Earth. Jadwiga, nice view outside, Jan. Thank you very much. We look at the castle. I don't know if it was visible from the office. Yeah, so you see this here is the castle. Yeah, so a pretty nice view. That's one of the things I like about the office. And then of course all the plants and all the orange stuff. So what else do we have here? Papi Skoba, hi from Senegal. Hi to Senegal. If you have any questions regarding the Czech Republic, please feel free to ask. Chamuiku Bazuki Jam. Was it meant to be? Oh, that's Jan. Okay, Jan. I think it was Jam. So nice to have you here. Sarukarki, I'm a student. I gave my visa interview and my study visa got rejected. Then I reappealed after 40 days of reappeal. I heard that MOI asked about my admission in my university. Will there be a positive result? Well, that's hard to say because I don't know why they denied it and how you made the appeal. Okay, so I cannot really tell you. But that they contacted the school actually shows that they are doing something. So now the thing is, what was their concern? And now if you reasoned it well in the appeal, and now if the evidence they get themselves, if it will be if it will be the same what you mentioned in the appeal, or if it will be different. So the thing that they contacted your school is a sign that they are actually doing something. So that they are actually gathering evidence, that they're actually thinking about your appeal. So that's good. If it's gonna be denied or approved, hard to say because I know nothing about your case. Ipshit, I'm planning to have one in Prague. Yeah, I don't think it matters. The main difference is obviously the prices. So if you have, let's say, 500,000 saved, then in Prague it will be like 10% for a studio. So you'll be getting like 4.5 million mortgage. If you have 500,000 crowns in some other city, that might buy you the whole apartment. So it's the thing is, there is just this difference. Other than that, I don't think your income or tax return matters for the place where you want to buy it. Other than this, Chamuki Bazuki, Šumava or Tatry? What do you mean? Like, what do you like more? What do I like more? I've been to both, and I enjoyed Šumava more. I wanted to say something weird about Slovaks because there is this kind of rivalry between Czech Republic and Slovakia, but actually Tatras are really nice, but I like Šumava more. Subash, I've planned to go to Vienna first and get to Brno via train. If I arrive in Vienna, is it okay to bring Mein Kampf book there? Is it allowed? Will there be any consequences? First of all, why would you bring that book with you? Second, honestly, I don't know. I don't think like banning books is something that the Czech Republic or the EU does in general. We are kind of for freedom of speech unless you're hurting someone. And by reading the book, you're not hurting someone. So I don't think it's a crime to have a book with you. But if, of course, if you started to like being racist or like reading something out of the book out loud, which might be offensive or racist or whatever, then that could be a problem. So the behavior would be a problem, not a possession of the book, in my opinion. But I honestly don't know how it works in Vienna anyway. Europe for you. I want to extend my study residence permit. I am doing job. I have public insurance valid till my current residence permit. If I submit this public insurance card and tell ministry about it, is it okay? Is it compulsory to show bank statement for extension of study residence permit, or I can show my job contract? Well, as a student, if you have the proper student residence permit, which you probably have, otherwise you would not be working because the 99 students cannot work. So you probably have the standard, the official student residence permit. And in that case, you can choose if you want to submit your bank statement as the proof of your funds or income, or if you want to use your monthly income, which would be your employment. Then it just depends, because for the bank balance, you just need to have high enough balance, like 120,000 crowns. If you have it, you're good. If you use the employment contract, then there is a bit more complicated calculation, and your salary must be high enough. As for telling it to the ministry, if you give them the public health insurance card, they will know that you're working anyway, because otherwise you would not be able to get it. So the question is, if you have a student residence permit, your purpose of stay in the Czech Republic is studies. So you primarily need to study. So if you have a full-time 40 hours contract with a company, the ministry might question if you are really here to study or if you are here to work, and that could potentially create some problems. But technically speaking, you can work as a student, even full-time, as long as you fulfill the purpose of your stay. So you should be fine, but it depends on a couple things. Subhash, is it possible to get a part-time job in Brno as a student without knowing the Czech language? I would say generally yes, but it depends on what you can do. It depends on your like skills and experience and all that. So yeah, why not? If you have a student visa, student residence permit, the proper one, as I just was talking about while answering the previous question, you can work, so there is no problem with that. Then it just depends on what you're bringing to the market. Saru Karki, I reappeal with a lawyer. Via a lawyer, my rejection case was my study motive is not well. And after reappeal, they mailed at my university and asked about is Saru can join September and blah, blah, blah. Well, again, you should be asking these questions to your lawyer, not to me, because I don't know anything about the case. Usually the reason for denial is the lack of motivation to study, because the ministry like asks you questions, and if you don't answer them properly, like you don't know why the Czech Republic, you haven't compared the different programs in different countries, you cannot really justify that, then they use it as an easy reason to deny your application. Then I cannot really see the connection between like why they would ask if you can join in September. How is it related to your motivation to study? So I don't see really the connection there. So you might need to ask the question to the lawyer who made the appeal, and they might be able to tell you more. Ipshit, could you please refer me to the email about mortgage? I will try to have a phone call session. Next 3 to 5 years, I have planned to have my 1 kk or 2 plus kk flat. Yeah, of course, get in touch. You have my email, I believe, so just like shoot me an email there. I'll be happy to connect you. I'm sure he will be happy to arrange a call with you and discuss your requirements and everything. So yeah, of course, do it. Hibad Rahmani, hello Jan, thank you for another nice Q&A. I have an expat life related question. Good. What do you recommend for expats to visit to Czech Republic? Somewhere not mainstream. Okay, so we have 30 minutes of live stream. We're on minute 10, so we still have 20 minutes. So I believe you will still be here on the chat. So just let me know, what do you like, because Czech Republic is a small country, but it's pretty big. So we have nice cities, we have nice nature, we have nice restaurants, we have like nice hiking trails. So like it depends what you like. Of course, we have good clubs here, whatever. I don't know. So if you tell me a bit more about what you like, then I should be able to give you some advice besides the clubs, because I don't like clubbing, so I cannot really give much advice about that. But other than that, yep. CNTPNR. Hey Jan, is it possible for me to check if my residency permit is still valid? It should be valid a couple of more months, but I've been outside of Czechia for the last 3-4 months, so I'm not sure. If you're not in the Czech Republic, might be pretty difficult to check, but you can give someone a power of attorney and they can go to the ministry and check on your behalf. Generally speaking, your residence permit usually does not get automatically cancelled if you stay outside for some amount of time, but you will most likely not be able to extend it or like apply for something else if you haven't been fulfilling the purpose of your stay. So I of course don't know again anything about your case, but if you have an employee card, for example, you can only be unemployed for 60 days. So if you left and you've been unemployed for 6 months, most likely the employee card is not cancelled yet, so you will be able to come back here and live here the remaining 3 to 4 months or whatever, but you will never extend it. So you will anyway need to leave and return the card later on. Papiskova, what do you think for the translation, the bank statement? Because my bank statement is right French. Can I apply for this? French, definitely not. If your bank statement is in French, the ministry will not accept it because no one speaks French at the ministry. English, okay, if they can kind of figure out like the basics, if there is your name, there is the balance, there is the date, it's clearly visible, okay, but French, I would not really be sure about that, so I definitely recommend translating French into Czech. Subhash, after completing the studies in Czech Republic, how many months can we stay there? Do we get a job seeker visa after that? Yes, that's the only case when you can get a job seeker visa, or it's a residence permit, but let's call it a job seeker visa. In the Czech Republic, the job seeker visa doesn't work the way that you can just come here and look for a job. You must apply for it from your student residence permit after you have finished your studies. So you can only do it this way. You finish your studies, your student residence permit is still valid, and now you apply for a job seeker residence permit. In that case, you get additional 9 months to find a job or start your own business, and then switch to either an employee card or to a business residence permit. Yeah, that's it. But there cannot be any gaps. So if you finish your studies, then you switch to an employee card, then you cannot anymore get the job seeker residence permit. It must go directly from the student after you have finished your studies. Sarukarki, lawyer said, let's hope for positive. Yeah, let's hope for positive. When I gave my reappeal paper, I wrote everything about why I wanted to study in CZ and why my motive. That's why MOI is impressed with my answer. Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope. If you explain properly and it makes sense, and especially if it was true, then yeah, again, as I mentioned, it's good that they are doing something actually. If they saw a reason to deny it, even the appeal you made, they would have done it most likely. Maybe they were looking for excuse to deny it, because if your school said no, we cannot accept her anymore, they would have another reason to deny it. But at least something is happening, so I would say it's more positive than negative, but again, don't know. Priyadharshini A.S. Balaji. I'm mispronouncing all your names, guys. Sorry for that. Hi, Jan. Submitted my long-term family reunification visa docs and biometric on 27th of May. Delhi Embassy, it's been 53 days. Where can I expect the approval? These are kind of difficult questions for me to answer, because if we did your case, I could tell you, okay, probably this, probably that, because I know what documents you submitted. Maybe half of your documents were incorrect, so you will never get approved. You will get denied in a week, or you might get denied after 4 months. I don't know. So it's very difficult to say. Generally speaking, if you submitted the long-term residence permit application, then the approval time is 270 days officially. If you applied for a long-term visa, then it's 60 to 90 days. So if it's 53, they have not even reached the minimum amount. So it can take a couple more weeks. On the other hand, the ministry does not really care anyway. So even if the official deadline is 60 to 90 days, it can take them 3 years to get it approved. They don't really care. But it's hard to say, like, if the main applicant here, meaning your spouse, is fine, the application is fine, it's been approved, it's valid for some more time, everything is good there, and if you had all the documents ready and in the correct form, properly translated, all that, should be relatively straightforward, and I would expect the decision within the 60 to 90 days. But again, it depends on so many factors, so if we haven't done your case, it's very hard to answer. It would be even if we did your case, but at least we would have some clues and we would know what has happened and that all the documents were submitted properly, everything the ministry wanted, all that. In this case, it's just like a wild guess. Thank you very much for the answer. My pleasure. It's in process now. Subhash, are you Nepali? Okay, someone's sparking here. Wall, out of the topic question. If I passed the PR here as a third country national, is it automatic PR for my daughter also? If she's born here, she's 2 years old. By the way, yes, you can apply for a child even sooner than after they live in here for 5 years. If your daughter, if your daughter was born when you already had the PR, you should have applied for the PR for her directly as well. If you got the PR later, then she can get it as well in most cases. Europe for you, does ministry give extra time to submit missing documents? Like, can I submit insurance documents later? My employer will extend my contract and insurance validity and they know I applied for residence. Yes, of course, but then it depends. It can get a bit tricky because the ministry always gives you some amount of time to deliver the missing documents. So, yeah, sorry, I already started reading the next question, so I'm a bit spaced out. Yeah, so if the ministry gives you, say, 3 months to deliver the insurance card, then you're good. But if the ministry gives you 2 weeks to deliver the insurance card, chances are you will not be able to make it because extending the contract, extending the insurance, that all takes time. So it's possible the ministry, if you're missing something and you're applying for a residence permit or its extension, the ministry has to give you a letter saying what you're missing, what they need from you, and how much time you have to give it to them. So it just depends on how much time they actually give you. Sarukarki, thank you. And do you ever plan to come Nepal? What's with the game over? What's with the game over? Like, that's with the guy you were trying to flirt with or what? Anyway, no, it's not in my immediate plans. Yeah, it's not like on my radar. I wanted to say that I would like to go to Nepal or India or that part of the world, because yeah, there are beautiful mountains and nature and everything, the culture as well. But I don't think it's realistic for the next couple of years, so I don't really have any immediate plans to go there. Lukman Ajmeri, I'm not getting an appointment and cannot apply due to the study gap. Is there anything I can do to expedite the process of getting one? Depends on where you're from, man. The process is different at different embassies. Jan, can you do namaste? Actually, I don't really know what it means. Of course, I know like namaste or all that, but I don't know if that's what you mean. Like if there is some ritual to that or not. So feel free to enlighten me if there is something I should know. If it's not just like saying hi. SM. I have Czech diploma. My first employee card is under process. In case my company cancels my contract during probation, what would I do? Now my student visa is also expired. Well, if they cancel it during approval process, then that might be a serious problem for you, because changing employers while you are waiting for the approval of the first employee card, that's pretty like specific situation. But if they cancel it during probation, well, after you get approved, you get the employee card, and then within the probation period they cancel it, that's fine, because if you have Czech diploma, you have free access to the labor market, so you can find another employer, report it to the ministry, and you're fine. Lukman, I'm from India. Well, okay. In that case, no, you cannot really do anything. You need to follow the standard procedure at the embassy. So I don't know if it's still like every second Wednesday at 2 o'clock Indian time, because I've heard somewhere something was changed, but I haven't checked that yet because I just read it yesterday or 2 days ago or something. So maybe they have changed it, but until very recently it was that you had to apply every second Wednesday at 14 o'clock Indian time. And if you were within the first like split second, then you could get an appointment. If you were not, then you could not get an appointment. So nothing really you could do there. Definitely don't pay anyone money to get you the appointment, because it's not how it works. We even had I've heard some cases where people paid someone at the embassy who promised to get an appointment but never got an appointment, because it's not how it works now. Used to be like that. There used to be a lot of bribes. I'm not blaming anyone at the embassy, so this is my official disclaimer. I've never seen that myself, but I've heard stories of how much people used to pay, like thousands of euros for the appointment, all that, and that it was possible somehow to do it. But now I haven't seen anyone, or haven't heard of anyone who would be able to get an appointment outside of the standard system. So I would definitely not recommend paying someone to get you an appointment, because they most likely will not be able to do that. And even if they were able to do it, that would be a fraud, and you would be starting your life in the Czech Republic with a fraud, which in my opinion is not worth it anyway. Maybe one advice for next time, student visas should be, the process should be start like first thing in the new year. So January, start working on your student visa if you want to be able to come here like September, October that same year, because the processes take long, the appointments take long. So if you leave it for like June, July, then chances are you will never get here in time. La la la. Imran Rashid, is GCC or UAE truck driving license convertible or not in Czech? Honestly, I'm not sure about truck drivers. I guess it's a normal driver's license. So I would need to see it, because you can only exchange it if both countries sign the Vienna Convention or the Geneva Convention, and if they both issue the driver's license in the manner they should. So hard to say. I would need to see it to see if it looks the same way as it should or not. Kedir Bashir, I'm from Ethiopia. Apply work permit in Czech Republic. Don't do that, man. Or girl, I don't know. Guys, I say it every time in all my live streams, most of the videos, don't pay anyone to get you a work permit to come to the Czech Republic and work here, at least unless they promise you that they can get you an appointment as well. Because in most cases, people get scammed because you get the documents, you get the work permit, the employment contract, you might even get an accommodation contract, whatever, but you will never be able to use it because in most African countries and in many Asian countries, there are quotas for how many people can apply a year for an employee card, and in most cases the quota is super low, so you cannot even apply. So you might be able to get real documents, but you will not be able to use them, and those companies providing you with the documents must know that. So be careful, because most likely you're getting scammed anyway. Rainbow World, do you provide work visa of Czech? Again, okay, so I've answered that answering the previous question, because it's be careful, guys. Getting a work visa or work permit or whatever from someone is usually not gonna work out. Abubakar Badru, how is it possible for unskilled worker for warehouse job at its age of 52 years? Again, that depends on where you're from. If you're from one of the African countries or most of Asian countries, probably you might get a job here. You might be able to get a job here, but you will most likely never be able to get the residence permit based on that. Regime mode is no more for South Asia, Lokman. I cannot confirm that or deny that. Mir. Hello, Mr. Jan. How long does it take for someone to get citizenship in the Czech Republic by studying masters in the Czech Republic, and we assume that everything goes smoothly? Generally speaking, you can apply for a citizenship after 10 years of living in the Czech Republic if you at the same time have a permanent residency. Doesn't matter if you got it like a week ago, but if you've been here for 10 years and you have a permanent residency, you can do it. Or you can do it after 5 years of having the permanent residency. So depends on what comes sooner. Sarukarki, South Asian students don't study well and they left Czech to Portugal. This is why I'm always pissed off. Okay, that's an interesting theory. Maybe there is a bit of truth in that. Arefin Faisal, due to an incomplete document, I wasn't able to get long stay visa today, so it's possible to go on another friend's time slot with him and give. Okay, that's a creative thinking, but I don't think it's gonna work out. I mean, you can try and you can explain, you can beg, and maybe they will do it, but that would be based on the human factor. So that you would really need to find someone nice there to be able to do it. Otherwise, normally, no, you have to schedule your own appointment. You cannot just like go with a friend and submit the application there. Imagine that everyone did that. So there are 50 slots a month, and then every person out of the 50 brings 7 friends. So it's like 350 people applying a month instead of 50. Now, it's officially not how it works. If you find someone nice there, they might be able to do it, but I would definitely not count with that. Yes, you're right. I'm required to send an email 2 p.m. This every second Wednesday. Yeah. So it still works the same way. There is no way around that. There are some tactics you can use to be able to deliver the email sooner, but now the highest season is coming. So July, August, September, October, but it doesn't matter if you apply in October. That's past your starting date anyway, so it doesn't really make sense. But now is the toughest time to get an appointment. If you had applied like in April for an appointment or May, that's relatively simple to get an appointment. But if you apply July, June, August, then it gets way more complicated. The Afro-European vlog. After graduating from school and you have a Czech spouse with which you stay together, can you apply for Czech permanent residency? Well, if you have a Czech spouse, you should have switched to a temporary residence permit for close family members of EU citizens within 3 months from marriage. Okay, so if you've married a Czech citizen and you haven't switched within 3 months, that's already like you've broken the law basically, because the law says that if you become a close family member, meaning that you marry someone then you have to switch, or you can apply for the temporary residence permit within the first 3 months. If you haven't done that, you can still try. They will most likely do it, but you should have done it within the first 3 months. After that, of course, you can apply for permanent residency. Then it depends on what comes first. If the total of you being here for 5 years of 2 years of the temporary residence permit. Kadir Bashir, 5 months, I'm not get work permit. Well, that should tell you something about about moving to the Czech Republic. Sarukarki, bye Mr. Jan, it's 12 a.m. here in Nepal. Please come live, not late. Come live, not late. Okay, come early so many people can watch. Okay, so good night, Saru. Thank you for joining. As for iPhone, as for phone I'm using some iPhone. I don't really know what is it, like some iPhone. Do you wanna hack it, or what do you wanna do with it? This is fun live stream. My study start. Okay. How long stay work permit? That's not the correct question. The correct question is if you can even get a visa or residence permit based on an employment contract. Okay, so in most cases, the answer, what are you drinking? Okay, this is that's a mineral water from one of the Czech spas. So you can go to the spa and drink it there, or they also bottle it. So that's a mineral water from one of the spas in the Czech Republic. But back to the question. The question is if you can ever get an appointment. It makes no sense for you to get an employment contract if you cannot get a visa or residence permit based on the employment contract. So the first question you should ask is, can I ever get an appointment, or can I ever get a visa or residence permit based on an employment contract? That's the main question. Like, yes, if you get an employment contract, you can either get it for 3 months and get a seasonal short-term visa, or you can get it for 9 months. You can get a long-term visa, the seasonal work visa. If you get a proper contract for 2 years longer, you can get an employee card for 2 years. If you get a blue card job, you can get a residence permit for 3 years. So there are different options. So it depends on what kind of contract you can get. But again, makes no sense to get a contract if you cannot get a visa or a residence permit. Papiskoba, we are already on 33rd minute, so I'll just finish the questions that are here and then I'll finish the live stream. Papiskoba, how should I do for a translation, because it's very expensive? Each page costs almost 100 euros. Well, it depends. So like if we deal with our clients, we try to not to do just translations. If you're wherever you are, if you are in India and you want to get something just translated from us, we can technically do it, but you will need to pay. We need the physical documents because the translation must be attached to the physical document. So you have to first DHL us the documents, we do the translation, we DHL it back. So that will be pretty costly as well if you just do the translation. If you do the whole work, the visa process with us, it will cost the same, but it will be part of the whole visa process. We'll be sending you more documents, all that. So it's a bit better. So 100 euros might be actually fine, depending on how many pages you want to get translated. Because if you want to get it translated by us, you will need to pay the DHL here. Then the translation, which will be significantly cheaper than 100 euros, might be like, what, 30 euros, maybe, something like that. But then you will need to pay the DHL back, so it might actually cost you the same, so it depends. Does your iPhone 3 camera or 2? I think there is one camera in the front and one in the back. Let me see. Yeah, there is one camera in the back, so it's something older. Oh, I find it weird to have like 17 cameras on your phone. Like, why? to like take a photo of my breakfast and like share it somewhere. I don't need like 35 million megabytes, megapixels camera for that, you know. Anyway, Hiba Dahmani. Hi, I'm the one who asked about the tourism recommendations. Okay, good. I like mostly visiting historical places or somewhere where it gives a hint about the Czech culture, galleries, museums, castles. Okay, so one thing, definitely go. Okay, two things. I like this live stream. If you want to have like a Czech experience, I would recommend you to go to some small village, like ideally Moravia or Silesia. Silesia is a bit more like industrial, so let's do Moravia. So if you go to any small village in Moravia, you will experience the real like Czech situation there, because usually people don't speak English there. Plus the lifestyle is completely different than what you can find in Prague or bigger cities. So definitely would do that. Maybe ideally with one of your Czech friends, if you get Czech friends, so they can explain and they can introduce you to the culture. Usually how it works, you go there, you drink shots with the older guys there, and then you become a member of the broader family, and they show you the secrets and all that. So that would be definitely a good experience for you if you're looking for culture or like the real Czech experience, which is not touristy. Second thing would be basically any of the castles, like in the Czech Republic. I read some statistics, I don't remember that, but I would say we have around 600 different castles and ruins and everything. So if you just Google castles in the Czech Republic, then you can choose basically any, and usually the castles have different, like it's not an exhibition, they have different markets where you have like blacksmiths, and they create some like jewelry like right in front of you, like as they did in the old times and all that. And different castles have different like variations of that, and some of the cities are even specialized. Maybe there is a legend where you like what happened there, some like mysterious creature or something, and they usually have a museum of that mysterious creature, all that. So there are places like that. I would probably go for, not for the full castles, but for the ruins, because they usually have a bit different atmosphere. Not that many people go there. So I would go for something like that. Kumbaya, quick question. Let me see. There are many questions. Okay, so the last thing here, last answer or last whatever I will get to is Kalal TV. It's a beautiful day, nice day. That's a very positive right in there. So I will just get there and then I will finish the live stream, because you are writing questions again and again, which is great. Thank you for that. I just need to cut it somewhere. So Kumbaya, quick question. On the FRS website, my long-term residence permit was approved. Is there some sort of time period in which I have to take the biometric appointment, something like 2 months? Not really. What can happen is that for the first couple days or weeks, the ministry does not care, so it's up to you to call them and book an appointment. After that, they might actually start calling you or send you a letter where they would give you the exact date where you need to go there. So that's one thing. Second thing is that depending on the branch where you want to go, they anyway don't really have anything available for the next month or even 2 months. Like Chodov, for example, in Prague 4, they might not have biometrics appointment for 2 months in advance. You know, so even if you try to book it now, it will be anyway like 2 months from now. So there is not really a limit. There is definitely a limit when you do the biometrics. So when you have to collect the actual card, I believe it's 40 or 60 days. I would say 40, but not exactly sure about that. So after you do your biometrics, then yes, you need to pick up the card pretty swiftly. But for booking the biometrics, not really. But if you, for example, are traveling or something, you're asking because of that, you can call them now and book an appointment for 2 months from now, because it might anyway be the earliest they have, and then you're fine. Sarukarki, why many people are applying for Czech Republic? What's your thoughts? Well, it depends. It's a very, very broad question, because what you mean many people, like many compared to what, and what countries you're referring to, you know? So from different countries, there are different reasons, I would say. So we would need to like specify the exact country you're talking about, and then we can figure out the answer, or I can give you my opinion. But generally speaking, for different nationalities, it's different reasons. Generally speaking, Czech Republic is very safe, very nice. The economy is pretty stable here. Like a very small amount of crime. Everything's here, like good quality of life, good doctors. So that might be the general reasons. But it's beautiful also. Like I've shown you the view from the window to the castle and everything. So that might be the general reasons, but then different people might have different reasons for that. Ervan, hi Ervan, nice to see you here. I am soon applying for student long-term visa, right? But I super late for 30 September starting date. Should I ask university to put me on the late winter enrollment or admission doc? Well, honestly, I don't want to answer this because I'm not dealing with your case. I believe you're dealing with Petra, or Petra is responsible for your case, so speak with her about that. Generally speaking, there is still time because it's still July. So if you apply in July, you still have time to get it approved. But I don't want to give you like concrete advice, because that's why you have your immigration specialist who's working with you. And they are definitely way more aware of your case than I am. And if I gave you some advice here, it would be general advice, not like advice that fits your case, because I don't follow your case. That's why you have the immigration specialist assigned to your case. So unfortunately, generally speaking, you still have time, but you need to speak with Petra to double check if there might be a better solution. Vlog Malu, I have a question. I came to Czech Republic for Masters in Logistics. And I completed my studies successfully, got my Czech diploma. Now I plan to convert my visa. Will it be difficult? Depends on where you want, or what you want to convert it to. Because for different visas or different residence permit, there are different rules. So it depends. But if you finished your school, you recently graduated, it was the proper student residence permit, then you can switch to the job seeker residence permit, which is generally pretty straightforward. But after that, it depends. If you find a job and you want to apply for an employee card or a blue card, or then a business residence permit. So it depends on where you want to switch. Jacob Nation, school certificate, is it necessary for what? For what, man? Sven Skekic, Sven. I will just call you Sven. Sorry for mispronouncing. Hey, I have gotten a job at Prague and have two options for a relocation option. Money up from or housing first 2 months. What would you suggest? Is it possible to find an apartment while not in Prague? Yeah, I would definitely recommend the second option, if just from the logistics perspective. Okay, I don't know anything about your case, so maybe it will be beneficial for you to get money up front, because you will end up saving something, and it will like be a gift for you, basically like a gift benefit. But if you're talking just about accommodation, then I would definitely recommend having accommodation booked for the first 2 months is better than getting money and sorting it out yourself. Because you will have, if you're moving to a new country, or specifically the Czech Republic in this case, there is a lot you have to do. Okay, it's you will be starting a new job, so you need to like first of all, you will need to find your way around the city, how to use the public transport, all that. Then your office, you will be starting, everything will be new colleagues, new team, new job, everything. Then you will be looking for the place to live. Then you will be setting up your public transportation card. You will be getting your bank account open so you can receive your salary. You might be thinking about moving some of your things to the Czech Republic, all that. So it will be a lot of work and a lot of stress in the first weeks anyway. So if you have at least this sorted, that you don't need to worry about where to live for the first 2 months, I would definitely see it as a better option than getting money and then looking for your own Airbnb or hotel and moving places, because you might not be able to find place for 2 months straight, but you might need to move after the first month. You will need to pay it yourself, all that, book it yourself. I would definitely go for the 2 months which are already like booked for you. As for finding a flat when you're not here, not very likely, for many reasons, but generally speaking, it's not very likely. So it's also, and I would not really even recommend it for you, because you will not see the flat, you will not see the neighborhood, you will maybe not meet the landlords, and that's not good. Then you arrive, you go to the flat, and you haven't seen like this damage or that, and it might be a beautiful apartment, but the neighborhood you chose is crap. Because you don't really know about the different parts of Prague, or like Prague in general is good and like safe and everything, but there are like places, there are streets which maybe you should not go to. And what if this is the street, because the flat is nice but the neighborhood not really. So I would definitely not recommend booking anything long term before you see it. And it would also be pretty difficult to have some landlord to sign a lease with you if you're not here. So definitely finding a place when you're here, having 2 months would be good. Okay, so there are like 4 more comments, so let's finish that. Sarukarkin, no one will get rejected if you guys be prepared for the interview. Okay, do research well about Czech and your university, say right things, don't be fake. Sarukarki, do you want to join our team to help people with getting their visas? Kalakiko TV, Philippines. I would kind of guess that. We have many clients from the Philippines. Thank you for joining. Kumbaya, oh, I see, thanks. And the last thing is Aman Singh. Not getting an appointment for study visa at New Delhi embassy since 3 months. Yeah, that's a pretty standard situation. Nothing much you can do about that at this point, unfortunately. Okay, guys, thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you again Monday, Thursday, until the end of the world. Good night.